Hello everyone. Today's story is called The Dog That Dug, and it's written by Jonathan Long and it's illustrated by Corky Paul. Now, Corky Paul is a very famous illustrator. He's done a lot of stuff with the Winnie the Witch books. So this is called The Dog That Dug. There once was a dog who was a bit of a clot. He'd buried his bone and forgotten the spot. He sniffed round the garden in search of his nibble, till he sniffed something nice and started to dribble. "That must be my bone," he said, "down in the muck. I knew I would find it with a bit of luck." Really great illustrations in this book. So he stuck in his paws and he scratched and he dug, till he found something hard and gave it a tug. But when he opened his eyes, guess what he'd found? It wasn't the bone he'd left under the ground. It's a water pipe. It was an old brown shoe with a hole in the toe that someone had dropped a long time ago. "I can't eat that," said the dog with a frown. "My bone must be deeper. I'll dig further down." So he stuck in his paws and he scratched and he dug till he found something else and he gave it a tug. But when he opened his eyes, guess what he'd found? It wasn't the bone that he'd left underground. But a coal miner, all covered in soot, very surprised to be tugged by his foot. "Sorry," said the dog, "I do beg your pardon. I didn't expect you to find in my garden." The miner yelled, "Bad boy!" and made quite a fuss. Then he strode down the road and looked for a bus. "Well, I can't eat him," said the dog with a frown. "My bone must be deeper. I'll dig further down." So he stuck in his paws and he scratched and he dug till he found something else and he gave it a tug. It was terribly heavy and the dog had a big battle, but at last it came out with a shake and a rattle. Can you guess what it was? The thing that he found? It was a tube train that chuffed underground, with 24 carriages all full of faces, and a little fat driver in a hat and some braces. "What are you doing? This isn't my station," shouted the driver with great indignation. "Sorry," said the dog, "I do beg your pardon. I didn't expect to find you in my garden." "Well, I can't eat him," said the dog with a frown. "My bone must be deeper. I'll dig further down." So he stuck in his paws and he scratched and he dug till he found something else and he gave it a tug. But tugging it out was a terrible strain, more of a strain than the tube train. And when it was out, guess what he'd found, buried away deep under the ground? Can you guess? It was a bone at last, but it wasn't a single. It was joined to some others, and they all made a jingle. There were big bones aplenty and small ones galore. All that was left was an old dinosaur. "What a surprise," said the dog with a smile. "This pile of snacks will last me a while." "Wait just 1 minute," came a voice from aloft. "Those bones are rare and not to be scoffed." A smiling professor was over his shoulder, with little round glasses and a shabby red folder. "I'm hungry," said the dog. "Those bones are my dinner. If I don't eat up some soon, I'll end up much thinner." "Look here," said the prof. "I'm not being funny. Give me those bones and I'll give you some money." "Great," said the dog, holding out one of his paws. £2,000,000 and the bones will be yours." The professor scratched her head and went and ah, then paid him in cash and put the bones on her car. When she had gone, the dog went to the shops and bought a pound of his favourite pork chops, and steaks and burgers and sausages in strings, and hot spicy pies and nice other things. Then he invited his friends for a beautiful dinner where no one had bones and no one got thinner. What a funny story, and I cannot believe that lady just had £2,000,000 lying around. But there you go. Right, have a lovely day, enjoy the weather, and I will see you tomorrow for another story. Bye-bye.